Okay, today we're going to discuss how to hire your first salesman for your commercial cleaning company. As always, my name is Peter Boland. I've closed over $50 million in commercial cleaning contracts, and I'm just here to tell you what has worked for us. So if you're looking to bring in your first salesman, you are either a new janitorial company that's starting with a little bit of money and you realize you're probably not the best at sales or you want to scale quickly, or you've been around for a little bit and now you have a little bit of money and you want to hire your first sales guy so he can go out there and just crush it for you. Okay? Either way, it's usually a scary thing because you're going to be paying the guy a lot of money, sometimes even more than you're making. And I know I was paying somebody more than I was making when I brought in my first sales guy, but it is worth it through and through. It's going to be how you scale. So you're at a place where you're wanting to decide your first salesperson. What do? This process is going to be exactly what we do in order to find the right salesperson for you. First step is you're going to have to decide what they're going to do, and you're going to want to build an avatar around it. So when I say decide what they're going to do, one of the biggest mistakes when hiring a salesperson I see companies make, and actually this is for a lot of positions, is they don't just hire somebody for a specific role. What they do is they hire somebody for a salesperson, and they're also going to do appointment setting, and then they're also going to go meet clients that they've already closed, and then they're going to go coach cleaners and make sure the inspections are right. They're also going to sign up people for one-time work and make sure that they find people to do the one-time work. They have them doing all these things that are not part of the function of sales. And the more you could get any employee down to just doing one thing, the more valuable that employee becomes to you because they really become an assassin at that role. The more you have them doing a ton of other things, usually their core function of the job that you hired them for is dismal and they're not doing great with it. And what's very, very true in sales roles is if you have them doing anything else that's not sales, what ends up happening is they start gravitating towards doing anything but like appointment setting or prospecting or cold calling. You want to decide, is this person just going to be doing your warm leads, or if you're going to have this person in a hunter and farmer role. So a hunter and a farmer role essentially means they're going to be out there prospecting, cold calling, door knocking, and they're also going to be taking the deals through the sales process to close. If it's your first sales guy, you're probably going to have them doing both. We did that for a very, very long time, and now we've split up the roles. One person just does appointment setting and generates leads, and then the other person does sales and closes the deal. That's it. The difference in production is unbelievable. When we had the two together, we would do between $2,000 and $4,000 a month of new clients. Now that we've separated it and we have our own appointment setters and our own sales guys, one salesperson that just does warm leads does about 13 grand a month in new sales, which is nuts. So that's where we're at with it, but you have to make the decision of what you're going to do. But if you're new, put them both together, not the end of the world. You probably don't have enough money to do both. Next step is creating your ideal avatar. What does this person look like? How many years experience do they have? Okay. What's their English quality level? We want very, very good native English to the country we're in. We want them to have their own vehicle, cell phone, and all these things that they have, right? It's very, very important. Their energy level, their mindset. We have all this on an avatar sheet for what we're looking for, so that when we start interviewing, it's easier for us to see the person that we're looking for. And we're not just looking at a person that's on an interview and then getting excited about their good qualities, but completely and utterly forgetting about everything we need. And then we end up hiring somebody that only has half the qualities of our avatar, not the full avatar. So build out your avatar of exactly what you're looking for. Very, very important. Again, experience. You need to determine what's good experience. For us, we need to have like at least 3 years of cold calling, door knocking, and like closing deals. We want somebody who's like an A player You're going to pay them a lot of money, but they are going to get twice as many sales for you as somebody who's not an A player. Period. They're worth it. Then you have to go into deciding what you're going to pay them and what your commission structure and everything looks like. For us, what we do is we pay $48,000 a year, and then their commission structures on top of it, they can get up to about $185K a year. So with our $185K a year, the way we pay now is weekly. We have weekly targets for them to hit. If they hit those weekly targets on a scale, what ends up happening is they get paid the following Monday for all those deals that they closed. Period. We used to pay them monthly. So 30 days would go by and then we would pay them on the 15th of the following month. What we found is our sales were like up, down, up, down, up, down. And there was like not a lot of urgency. They would push deals out to close. They wouldn't be as excited about it. Now that we're doing it weekly, it's like every week resets and they're just in there trying to get these deals closed while they're nurturing them through a process. They're building value more because they really want to get the yes. So we found paying weekly, huge benefit and plus, but we are a sales-driven company. So we have more of a sales function in our business than most traditional janitorial companies, which is their main focus. Their sales is kind of the side thing and what their focus is on the cleaning. We use a subcontracting model where our subcontractors are absolutely amazing and they focus on the cleaning and we focus on the sales and service aspect of things. Something you need to understand too is when you're new in a company and you're hiring your first salesperson, this salesperson is probably going to have the potential to earn more money than you. There's no doubt about it. When I hired my first salesperson, he earned more money than me. I was okay with that because the company was scaling and growing. And for us, when we hire a new team of appointment setters and sales people, it takes about 4 months to break even, and then every single thing after that is profit that they bring in. So in 4 months, they will cover their wages and commissions, and then after that, every single thing that they bring in is profit. So it's a good metric to use when you're bringing in a sales guy. It's how quickly is it going to take for me to break even on this guy, and then it's going to start to make profit. Ours is 4 months. It's okay to pay people more than you're making. It's how you scale and grow. Don't be shy with it. I know at the beginning, it's like scary to hire any employee because you think all that money is your money and you're spending your money, and to a degree of it you are, but it's really the company's money. And as the company grows, it becomes more valuable. So not only are you making a wage, but that asset of the company that you grow starts to become more and more valuable. And if you want to sell it later on, you're making your wage plus what the asset is. So you could actually be making 2 times your salary. While doing it, one is just not in liquid cash. That's how I look at it for my company. We're doing over 10 million a year, and every single year when we grow by $3-4 million, what ends up happening is my asset is growing, and within 5-6 years, we'll try to sell that asset. So not only am I making a wage now, but I'm also growing my asset. The next part is you want to go to crafting your ad. For us, I think of crafting a job ad no different than crafting an ad on Facebook or Instagram or any single where for my company. The whole point is to grab attention and to have somebody apply, period. I don't care if it's a bad lead that applies. Obviously, the more targeted you are, the better leads you're gonna get. But I just want a bunch of leads at the beginning. So the ad needs to be really exciting up front. What your company is, where you're going, the direction of it. They need to know that they have a future that's long-term with the company, and they're coming into a company that's very forward thinking, and there's going to be opportunities more than just the position that they're in. From there, you want to move to what you expect from them. So how many years they've had specific jobs for, vehicle, pretty much every single thing that's in your avatar, you want to have in your what you're expecting from them. The next section is what you're going to give them. So you could have baseline plus pay up to 180K. The next part is you're going to go over what you're going to give them, right? So the training they're going to have, what their pay is up to, right? Plus the salary, If you're going to give cell phones, if you're going to give like commissions and bonuses for trips, what are the perks that come with your company? So do you have benefits? Do you pay health insurance? All that type of stuff. It goes in what you're going to give them. So you need to make the job enticing enough to where an A player would actually want to apply from these. And then after that, you're going to go over when the time frame is you're looking for somebody, and then you're going to want to put all the information in the bottom of how to get a hold of you. If you use something like Indeed, ZipRecruiter, these places, it's great. I would not recommend hiring a family friend unless that family friend has the exact avatar you're looking for because you like them and you think it would be easier. You're looking for somebody with a very, very, very specific skill sets. And I have made this mistake so many times in my company where I've hired people that are either A, close to me to do something that don't have the necessary skill sets. I just saw a lot of potential in them. Or I've hired people just simply because I saw a lot of potential in them. And I knew that they can do the job, but just because somebody can do the job doesn't mean they want to do that job. So don't hire from your circle unless they absolutely match the avatar. Put ads out on Indeed, ZipRecruiter, all these places, and then take the ads from there. And when you do, they have a whole platform where you can ask questions on them and do all these things, like how many years experience do you have, et cetera, et cetera. And then when they apply, they have to answer those questions. If they don't answer those questions, it's pretty much a red flag that they A, didn't read the ad, B, they're really not that interested in it. Now, after you've crafted it, posted on all these things, what you're waiting for is for the applications to come in. You might have 50 to 250 people apply for something. I know when we post an ad for a BDR, a business development rep, which is what we look for, we will get tons of people apply, but we hire across the country. So we can have 200, 250 applicants. And now our job is, out of that 250 applicants, to go through all the resumes and find the ones that A, meet our ideal avatar, or if they're almost identical to it, but there's one or two things missing, still we'll interview them. And then what we do is we set up interviews. So we might take that 250 down, right down to like 75 or 50. Okay, and the first step is a phone interview. We have a phone interview with them just to talk with them to see if they meet the ideal avatar. 5 minutes, nothing crazy. That's it, that's all. And if you find somebody great, it won't be 5 minutes. It'll be like 15, 20 minutes you guys are chatting for. I have never, ever hired somebody where I've been like, you know, I think we can make it work and I think they have the skill sets, and then brought them in and they've just crushed it. 9 times out of 10, when I'm on the interview and I realize that they have all the avatar skill sets, even the initial phone call, and they have all the avatar skill sets and like they're giving off fuck yeah energy where they're just so excited to be there and you're like, oh my God, this is perfect. That person is usually the one who makes it almost all the way through. And it's not because I'm not looking at our avatar to make sure they have it all. On the call, we're determining if they have that. So like we look for that. This is the perfect person for the job role. And because we look for that and nothing less, we usually end up hiring very, very, very correctly. So once you've taken the 75 down to all those phone calls, like this is a lot of work, I get it. Then what happens is you go to schedule them for actual interviews. If you don't have an office, no big deal, just do a Zoom interview. That's more than common enough now. I hear a lot of people talk about doing interviews in coffee shops and all these places. But the problem I have with doing interviews in coffee shops and all these places is the amount of time it takes for me. If like you got to think I'm taking 75 people, maybe down to 30, and then I got to go back to a coffee shop to do all these interviews. It's just a lot of time in between of going back and forth to this coffee shop to do interviews because your interviews are going to be scheduled at all different times. Sometimes people have a full-time job, other times they don't. They can have interviews during the day. I like to just book back-to-back Zoom calls. Typically we do 30 minutes and that's that. So we take the 75 applicants, we make the phone calls, we weed them down to like 30, and then we do interviews with 30 people to probably try to hire one. I will not accept from our team an applicant that they want to hire if they haven't done a minimum of 10 interviews, not by phone, but by Zoom. I will not accept it whatsoever. You need to interview a lot of people. And typically when you're trying to solve a problem, like hiring your first salesperson you can grow, you're excited, or if you're hiring any position, you're like, oh, I really need somebody right now. When you come from a place of lack, that's when you make all the mistakes, because you're trying to hire to solve a problem instead of hiring the right person for your company that can absolutely change it. A good hire in a sales role will completely and utterly change your company. And you can grow by 1 to 2 million a year from like a really, well, let's say $1 million a year, you can grow by it with a really, really good sales guy. And if you have a really good process in place. A really bad sales guy is going to just burn your leads, burn your name, and you're going to get nothing from it, and you're just going to have to babysit the guy. So now that we're on the Zoom calls, this is typically about 30 minutes. A lot of it is we start off with asking them questions to determining if they can really do the job. You know, how long were you at this place? Why did you leave? All those typical questions that you want to find out. Okay, now we're on the Zoom meeting. All right, now we're going into the deep dive 30-minute one. You want to make sure that they have that fuck yes energy through the whole entire interview. Okay, they're positive, energetic, bubbly. Okay, they have all the experience and the avatar and everything is there. And now you're looking for problems that they have in their life and ensuring that they actually have the skill sets that you want. Because it's easy on a 5-minute phone call to be like, yeah, I've done that before. I've made all these prospecting calls. I've done that. And then you get in a long form interview and you ask questions like, okay, well, how many hours a day did you do prospecting? Right? How many phone calls would you make? And they find out that they think prospecting is making 5 phone calls a day, when we think prospecting is making 100 phone calls a day. So there's this discrepancy with words. And that's really what I look for in the interview process, is when I say, have you done prospecting before? Prospecting is a blanket word, which means a ton of different things. Door knocking, cold calling, how many phone calls you make, all these actions go underneath it. So what I'm doing is making sure when I've asked, hey, have you done prospecting before? And they said yes, they know exactly what I mean by prospecting. Okay, great. Well, how many phone calls have you made a day? And I'm digging in on it to ensure that the words we're using align with each other and it is the exact person I'm looking for. I cannot tell you how many times I have been in an interview and they're like, oh yeah, I've done door knocking, I've shut down tons of deals, I've done over $3 million for this other company in a year in sales. And then I'm like, okay, great. And I'm like, how did you do the $3 million? And they're like, oh, well, I just got given really, really hot leads and I would only have to make 4 or 5 calls a day. And they were just working for a company that had a really, really hot product, but they weren't really doing anything. Like, that has happened to me so many times that this salesperson's not a great salesperson. What it was the company was so new and they had such a unique way of marketing it. And it was so interesting that people just wanted to buy the product. They didn't have to do anything. They were essentially just order takers, but they thought they were these high-level sales guys. So you have to weed these things out back and forth. And the first part of the Zoom meeting is just asking all these questions and making sure that the words you're using, the blanket words, prospecting, you know what I mean, cold calling. Cold calling is like, okay, you're door knocking and then you're making phone calls outwards, but how many are you making? How many door knocks are you making? When you're door knocking, are you just getting a business card and leaving, or are you trying to get a quote right on the spot? Right? When you're selling, what are you doing when you're selling? Do you know how to follow up? Do you know how to build value? Do you know how to like move them around on price to try to come to the right price for them? Do you know how to go over a maintenance agreement, negotiate it, close it, right? There's all these things that go into it. And you want to make sure that they know exactly how to do it. So when you bring them on and you give them your process, it's just plug and play. They just come into it and they just take your information and your process and they just start closing deals left, right, and center. We just hired a guy, trained him up for 3 days, put him on doing demos on the 4th day, and he closed 3 deals in 1 day, right? So it was simple as plug and play. That's it, that's all. So once you've done all these Zoom calls, when you're done with them, and let's say you did 30 about them, you have to go down to determining which one was the best. 9 times out of 10, you'll know which one was the best. You should know because they met your avatar, they have the exact skill sets, and they brought that FEI energy. Not a lot of people have those 3. And if you can't find that in your interview, just do more interviews. Don't settle and bring somebody in because they'll be there for a month, they'll waste a month of your time and money, and then you're just gonna have to do it again. It's better to wait to find the right person than it is to bring the wrong person in, because it's gonna create a lot of dissent within your company. I have made this mistake many, many times before. Something else that we look for when doing the interviews is, what is their life currently like? Okay, if they are a new dad and they are really, really motivated to come into your company and make money, great sign. If they are newly divorced and just moved to a new city, their life is probably a little bit more chaotic and you're not going to get the full attention you need for the job. Okay, so we look at, like, what are they doing right now? Why are you looking for roles? And they'll usually find, oh, you know, I just moved here. Okay, why do you just move here? And you just keep asking questions on it and you can kind of get a picture of what their life looks like. If you hire somebody that has a lot of problems in their life, what's going to end up happening is you adopt those problems, period. Even if they have all the skill sets that you want, you will adopt every single one of their problems. If you are hiring somebody that has all the skill sets and they're highly ethical, they match your core values, you know, they're not out partying every single weekend, they are, you know, a family man, they are wanting to build a future for themselves, that's a great find and a great hire. Those are all great things because they have intrinsic motivation to succeed for you. Somebody who's just doing it so they can make money on the weekend to go out and party, or somebody that's just gone through a very tragic thing in their life, they're just not going to be as focused as they would be as if they are focused on building something for a family or for themselves. That's great. So always look for that stuff. Now, when you go back to decide on the right person, what you're going to want to do is, once you've decided to bring them on, you're going to let them know, send them an employment contract. If you don't have an employment contract, talk to your lawyer. You can get one up, make sure it matches all your state laws, all that type of stuff. He might try to negotiate on salaries. If he's really good, he might try to negotiate on commissions. All that stuff's fine with me. If he's willing to negotiate those hard things with me, then I know he's willing to negotiate it with the people I'm trying to get them. I know he's going to negotiate it with the people that we're trying to sell. So it's okay to negotiate it. It's okay to also say no, or to come back to it in 3 months. All that stuff's fun. After you have the employee agreement, what you're doing is then you're setting up training. And this video has nothing to do with that. Those are 2 completely different things. So that's the whole process that we use for finding the right salesperson. It's extremely detailed. It takes tons of time, but the truth of the matter is this is the process we use to bring on everybody in our company. It's no different, whether it's somebody just doing customer service, or if it's an accountant, or if it's an appointment setter, or if it's a cleaner. Our cleaner process is probably far more detailed than that. It's way more detailed. But this is how we do it, and this is how you ensure you will get the right salesperson. And if you rush it and hire wrong, just know that all the work you did here, you're just gonna have to restart it and redo it with lost time and lost money. Okay, and maybe the person even hurts your company and creates dissent within it, or hurts some of your leads that you were giving them or they were getting, where you can never close them again. So hiring right, extremely important. Okay, that's all I have for you guys today. If you like this video, comment, subscribe, do the usual stuff. If you want a free 15-minute coaching, go to the link on my YouTube above and we will absolutely help you out with it. Okay, thank you guys very much.